minus 12x plus 9.
Okay, so f prime would be okay. So f prime, put it to 0 to solve for critical values. We get the following: plus 9 equals 0. So either you do quadratic or factoring. Now I would go with factoring if possible. So we get x squared minus plus 3. Now it is easy, determine that you have a 3 and a 1, x minus each. Okay. Now the values obtained would be x equal how much in each? 3
3.
here and a 1 there. Okay. Now those are critical values, yes. Are critical values. If they say critical points, you go back and replacing x in the function to get the point. Now they didn't ask about critical points, okay, critical values.
Okay.
That is part A. Part B, intervals increase or decrease has to do with the number line, and you go on studying the behavior of the function. So we put those in order. We have the 1, we have the 3. Okay, and that is my f prime. So you pick any number, we say pick any number in this part, in between and after. And you replace those numbers in your f prime. Okay. So go ahead. I can pick, for example, a 0. I can pick a 2. I can pick a 4. You can pick any other numbers as well. We are interested in telling the sign, the symbol, is it plus or minus only. So if you put a 0, you get plus 9, right? So it's plus, we say. Now we can use calculator. Put a 2, what do you get? If I put a 2, I get 12 minus 24. 12 minus 24. So I see it a minus. If I put a 4, I will get a plus. Anyway. So this is an arrow going up, going down, going up. Okay, now when arrows change, then up and down means a max. This means a minimum. Anyhow, you wanna follow the question in order to answer. So you wanna answer now the increase, next decrease, next you wanna tell max or minimum. Okay, all those can be answered from the let's say the number line here below. So increasing intervals, we say we may have 1, we may have 2 or more or none, it depends. Okay, increasing intervals, where are the arrows going up? So we have in these regions. What do you write?
Between 0 and 1.
No. But the 0 is not a critical value. We only include the critical values in our answers. So the critical values were 1 and 3.
Less than 1.
So less than 1. Yeah, but it should be interval. Interval, you should make some look this way. So
In negative infinity.
yeah, that should be written negative infinity to 1. Okay, it should be interval. Now part C, decreasing interval. Now I have more, right? I have here either you put a comma or union. For the second, I have more than 3, so 3 and 1. Okay. Decreasing interval, I have only one arrow going down. So from where do I put? It starts from 1 to 3.
Yeah.
Okay, so from 1 to 3, that's it. Now part D, they say local extrema, maximum, minimum. Now it's written here, maximum. So the maximum, now see, do they say a point? No, they said only local maximum and minimum. It's not about being a point, okay? And there's no graphing, so no need to find the point. So how do you write it? You say maximum at x equals 1, because those are the x values, right? These are x values. So the 1 and the 3 represent x values. Okay, maximum at x equals 1. Okay, minimum at x equals 3. Make sense? If we don't have a minimum or maximum, we just mention, because you should make it clearly the answer, what it be. Do we have or no? Okay, it should be answered. That's it. So this is the question below. Okay. We'll do the next. Yeah, sometimes you have this question in all, like the increase, decrease, maximum, minimum, and then concavity in one given function. Now they put here another function and they ask you to do the concavity and then the inflection, and then you want to sketch. So you want to start from the given function. Okay, to reach concavity, you wanna pass by first derivative and then reach the second derivative. So you should do g prime first. Derive first. What do you get? You get okay, minus 3x squared and then minus 18x and then minus 24. Okay.
Okay.
To the second derivative, we get minus 6x minus 18. That's it. To figure out the concavity, you should get the critical values. So you put it equals to 0, so for x as well. So x would be 18 over minus 6, which is, okay, that's it. Is a critical value, you say. Critical value, in a sense, it may admit the inflection point, okay? Those, for that reason, we say critical. Critical, in a sense, it's like of importance. It has a value, I mean, okay? So now to study concavity, you put the values obtained. I have only one value, so you put it on the line. Okay, now we have only one value. Pick any number again before this minus 3, like a 0. It cannot be here 0, so the 0 is there. Any number before minus 3, like a minus 4, right? Okay, perfect. You can pick here minus 2, but any number would fit. If you put a 0 in your second derivative, so be careful, your reference is here. In the second derivative, if you put a 0, you get minus. If you put a minus 4, you get it positive. Okay, that you can use calculator. Now we are talking about concavity, no more arrows. Okay, no more arrows. If you put this arrow, it's mean you get nothing. It's not true. This is concave up. So it has the U look. This is a reversed U. Okay, so this is concave up, concave down. I can answer now part A. Say concave up intervals, because we may have more than one. So right here I have a one. Concave up is in this region. How do you write it?
Less than -3.
Again, it should be interval. So you put,
Oh, minus infinity.
yeah, minus infinity till minus. Now part B, it says concave down. Concave downward intervals or interval would be after this. So it's -3 till infinity. Finish. Now inflection is a change of concavity. Either if you have this, it means inflection right here, or it is the other way, it means inflection. Okay. So if you have, let's say, the behavior is this, no inflection. We don't have an inflection in that. If you have downward, 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 means no inflection as well. Okay. So in this case, we have inflection. So we say inflection. Now, did they say inflection value or inflection point? Point. So a point, you have to get x and y. Now here I have x equal -3. I should get its y. So you say inflection is at x equals -3. If I want to get its y, you just replace back in the function. So the function is g. Okay. So go back to your function and
Here.
replace.
Or double prime.
No, g. Go back to g, original.
Yeah.
So to get the point, you wanna, because this sits on the function itself. Okay. You go back to this original. So how much is it? Minus x cubed minus 9x squared. So that minus 9x cubed or minus 3 minus x cubed minus 9x squared. Okay, so the place of the bracket is your -3, -24 minus 12. Okay, so I want to continue here, -24 minus 12. Okay, so the bracket is for the replacing the value -3n. Okay, use calculator, you can figure out. Perfect. How much would be? Put it the way it looks, not to make a mistake in any value. Scored -24 bracket 3 minus 12. So it's minus now. Exactly, it is minus because I'm not allowed to round. Okay, you can put up rounding if you want to graph it later. Yeah, but now it's -566 over 27. So the point of inflection, we say inflection point.
Wait, but I got 6. I got number 6.
Sorry, you got.
I got the answer 6.
Well, check if you wrote it the same. Be careful for the signs, okay? Minus, 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 minus. They are all minuses, okay? Yeah. See how do you put it on your calculator? So check. Now I have here minus 3. Okay, so let me fix. This is a 3. This is a 3. So it is a 6. We got a 6 only.
Yeah.
Okay, so the inflection point has x minus 3 and a 6. That's it. Okay, and then graphing, sketching, well, I leave this for you, but sketching, what do you sketch on? You sketch on the points. So you sketch your inflection.
Can you
Okay.
sketch though? Because I don't really know like how to do it in the exam.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay, df means the differential. Now f is a y, right? F is a
yeah.
y. So this sometimes is given like to find df means dy. That's it. dy is the differential part of the derivative. So because we know y prime is f prime, which is dy over dx, or it is df over dx if they want to use f. It's the same thing as dy. Okay, so when they ask you find dy, it means you wanna write that in terms of dx. Okay, so you still derive it, you still do the derivative, and you put dx. So dy means the derivative right here times dx. The derivative simply 4 over 3 goes to the front, subtract a 1. So you have 1 over 3, okay, dx. Now x is given, so that should be a value. You plug in x and you plug in dx. So that is meant to be dx, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so use calculator, 27 to the power times 0.5. How much
Okay.
do you get?
Um,
So 4 over 3,
2/5.
yeah, 27 is 0.3 times 0.3, let's say. Yeah, times 0.3, 4 over 3 times 0.3, so 0.4 it should be, so 4 over 3, okay, times 0.3. How do you get it 0.5?
I got it 2/5.
2 over 5, yeah. Yeah, so we can write it as a decimal 0.4. Okay, that's it. Now, if you want to do the second question here, delta f, how much is delta f? Now, we say delta f means delta y. Now, delta y means the change in y, which is y2 minus y1. Change in y means it's the function at x2 minus the function at x1. Now, this means you have two values of x, but I see only one value of x. So where's x2? Okay, now this is the trick. X equal 27 is the first x, so we say x1. Delta x means x2 minus x1. Okay, so we can find x2 from this relation. X2 would be delta x plus x1. Okay, so if you add those together, you get x2. So it's 27.1. We need x1,
Wait,
we need x2 to find y2, y1, which is delta y. Okay, that's it. So f of x2, you figure out how much. F x1, you figure out how much. Then you subtract, you get your delta y.
but I don't understand why we're doing this if they already gave us delta x.
Delta x is used in two ways. Delta x is used as dx in the first part, and it is used to find x2 in the second part. We use it
Why?
in two ways.
Did they ask to find x2?
Yeah, because by definition, delta x means variation of x, and it is at the same time, yeah, the thickness if it is applied in problems, so it is dx as well. So this has two meanings. Okay, it's written there.
Can you re-explain like till like going down?
Yeah. Right. What do you do next? So replace. Fx2 means f at 27.1, and this is f of 27. How much was your function, by the way? It was x power. So it's a calculator issue. Okay. So 27.1 to the power 4 third. This is 27 to the power 4. See, put A. difference in between. Okay, so calculate. Now that would be in decimal for sure. So 27.1 to the power, open bracket, 4 over 2, okay, minus, this is 27 to the power 4 over 2, okay? So that is your answer. You can say rounded to two places, 0.4 or 0.4. But you mentioned rounded to two places, okay? Any question? So that is your answer for delta F.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what do you do in this question? To find the equation of the tangent, simply it's a line, right? So we say y equal mx plus b is the equation of the tangent. Now you need to find m first. M is the slope of the line, but at the same time is the slope of the curve, which is your y prime. But the y prime at the point that has an x equals ln 2. So it means y prime at ln 2. So you want to find y prime, plug in this x, you get your slope. Slope should be a number, okay? I see it, it's a not hard equation. So the given is y equal to e plus radical ln 2 times radical x. So you want to derive it, y prime, how much? Deriving e is itself. This is a, now this is a constant. Ln 2 has no x, so this is like a 5, a 7, or whatever. So you keep under multiplication, that when you derive, you keep it. Deriving radical, you can turn it to x power half, but no need, because deriving radical u, something in x, is u prime over 2 root 2. Let me know, okay? You want to do it in a different way, it's up to you, but we prefer this nice looking form because it's simplified already. We don't like the power of half. So that you keep deriving radical x would be, in this case, deriving the x is a 1 over itself. That's it, okay? This
Why
is your
do we leave
derivative.
then 2?
The 2 is from the formula.
No, why do we leave the ln 2? We don't do anything.
Yeah, because as we left the 2 here, we leave this. So what do you want to do with it? We don't touch any number under multiplication division. Again, if you have, for example, 3x over 2, the derivative would be 3 over 2. You don't touch. It's 3 over 2, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So your next step is to find this as a value. So you plug in this ln 2, as we said. You plug it in x. You want to put it here. You want to put it there. So that may be the hard part is to figure out, but you can use calculator even. Y prime is equal to e power ln 2. X is a ln 2. This is, I'm copying that 1 over 2 radical, and the x is a ln 2. That's it. I just literally replaced what I see, okay? Now you see something that can cancel. Those cancel. That if you don't know, check it on your calculator. It's a nice answer. How much is it? But we know that the e and the ln, they cancel. Those, they cancel, so the 2 stays. So your answer would be a 2 here times 2. The 2 out and the 2 on. To get 4 plus a half. The answer would be 9 over 2. That's it.
Yeah.
So this is m. Now that is step 1 to find the tangent. So you say equation of the tangent line would be y equal mx plus b, which is the one below. So what is still to find?
B.
B. Okay, now you need what? You need the x and the y values to get the b. Now x, we know it's radical 2. It's ln 2. I mean, x is ln 2 given. So let me put it on. This is ln 2 given. Now how much is y? Y is not there, but we can find. So we say find it, find out. So what you do is you go back to the original function and you put x equal in the original. Put this in the original and figure out your answer. If you put this back again, what do you get? Because the derivative was similar to the function anyhow, so it's easy to figure out. So the function is 2e to the x. So it's 2e to the power ln 2 plus radical ln 2 times how much? Times radical x, which is radical ln 2 back. I mean, this is your y. You agree? Again, those would cancel, so 2 and 2 is a 4, but radical times radical cancels, so it is ln 2 back. That we know, okay? Why? If you have a question, why? Because radical, let's say 5 times radical 5 is 5 back, which is radical 25. Okay, so for that reason, it's 5 back. Anyhow, so the y is 4 plus ln 2, and this is a b. So let me put this in part because that is a calculation, but that is the actual problem you have here. Anyhow, isolate b, figure out how much. So the b would be 4 plus ln 2 minus 9 over ln 2. Ln 2 is not a nice number because it's decimal. You are not allowed to round till your last answer, even no rounding here, okay? Because it's not the question about finding b, it's about the equation of the line. You cannot round some partial answers, okay? So what is your final look of the b? Now, ln 2 is like like a letter name, or so how do you add those? It's 4. So you have here a 1 minus 9 over 2. Okay? How many ln 2 do I have? I have 1 minus 9 over 2. So that you can do on calculator, okay? Which is minus 1 over minus 8 over 2, which goes back to minus 8 over 2, goes back to
It's minus 7 over 2.
minus 7 over 2, which is, so I want to keep it minus 7 over 2 ln 2. So it's not nice, but that is your B. Equation of the tangent line. So at the end, you would write it. Okay. The slope is 9 over 2. And the B simply is what you see here. So this is exact answer, no decimals. Perfect. Okay. So we have to find A. Now the Gini index is given. So just you write the formula. So the Gini index, GI, would be 2 integral from 0 to 1, x minus f of x. This is integrated with respect to x, okay? So you are reciting the formula. Now the Gini is 1 over 4, you put it on the left. Okay, the function is given. So it's x minus open bracket, you put your function. Whatever it is, exactly. Whatever expression they provide, you just copy it. Okay, now integrate. You can simplify before or you integrate as it is right away. So what do you get if you do so? Okay, because there's no simplification here, so you can integrate right away. Integral of x is half x squared. Integrating ax is ax squared over 2. Integrating this is x cubed over 3. Now the 3 cancels, so it's 1 over 4. Okay? And now the minus stays. Now the minus, I want to remove the bracket. The minus goes into, okay? So it's a minus, minus. This is your integral. Now 2 for all. There's 1 over 4 on the left. Okay, and you are evaluating from 0 to 1. Now you can deal in numbers. You can put those values first, or you can get the 2 in first. It's up to you. But I prefer finish all that part and then do simplify. Okay, because you want to find a. No x's would remain if you plug the 1 and the 0. Okay, so if you plug in a 1 in each x, 1 to any power is a 1, we said, right? 1 to any power is a 1. So it means if you plug 1 square, 1 right here, so you have ones to any, ones times any number, that coefficient stays. So it's a half minus a over 2 minus 1 over 4. When you put a 0, it's a big 0, so that you can neglect. Now this is, I mean, skills in calculation or skills in simplification. So you want to simplify, find a, okay? There are many ways. Some would say I want to multiply 2n. Some would say I want to divide this 2 because it's 2 times. I want to get rid of this 2. Divide by 2. Okay. You decide. Some would say I want to take a common denominator n. Some would say okay, leave it. I want to just calculate the numbers and isolate a next. Okay. All ways would lead to the same answer. Okay. But for me, I would do the simplest. I prefer take this away rather than multiplying three things by 2. Just take this away, divide by 2. If you divide this by 2, you get 1 over 8. That would stay in. Now this stays in, that stays in. Calculator, half minus quarter is a quarter, okay? Minus a over 2. That's it. Now some would say, I want to take common denominator. Okay, you can, but no need, because I want to isolate this. So take that number to the left. Now use calculator. How much would be? It's minus 1 over 8. Okay.
Minus
You can check it up. So 1 over 8 minus
1.
1 over 4. I can calculate fraction. Okay, so it's minus a over 2. Now the minuses would cancel. And to get rid of the 2, because I need a, I multiply by 2. Some would say I want to cross multiply. Again, do whatever you like. So a would be 2 over 8, which is, so this is your a. Finish. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so you find the area bounded by. We said here there's no interval given, so you want to get the intersection always. Your starting step would be put those equal to get your common points. Okay, so x to the 5 equals 16x. You want to solve for x, you collect those on one side. Solve for x, you take a common. Now, how many values do I get? So be careful. X to the 4 minus 16. There are two ways. Either you factor it or you solve it the way it is. But okay, so in both cases, you should get this proper answer. Now, this is x to the 4 equals 16. And now we're going to put fourth root of. Okay, we're going to raise it to power 1 over 4 or put fourth root of. But this is even. When you put an even in radical, you get plus minus options. Okay, so x equals plus minus. You get a 2. Okay, that you can use calculator. You get a 2. So how many answers do I have? I have 3 answers. Now you put them on the number line in order. I have minus 2, then the 0, then the 2. We said when we have 3, so the common point in between those graphs are 3. It means we have 2 regions of intersection. So this represents A1, A2. Okay, A1 is the integral from minus 2 to 0. A2 is the integral from 0 to 2. Now the question is, now next is to figure out which one is above, which one is higher, which one is lower function. Okay, now there are two ways. Either you sketch, have a look, if you are able to tell what are these. Now majority of students don't tell, and they are not interested in telling. Okay, but x to the 5 is like x power 3. Okay, it's like something like this. 16x is a straight line, so it's something like that. Okay, anyhow, if you are not, and as I said, most of the students are not interested in the sketching part because it demands many skills, right? So how do we work it out? You take any of these two, put them under minus, and if you get your answer to be minus, you just modify it, and that's it. So I want to say this would be, let's say, x to the 5 minus 16x. Always there's a minus in between, okay? Now you integrate, you replace. If your answer is, because the area should be always positive, if your answer is a minus, turn it to positive and you put a minus there. So it would be modified. And the area next, it would be the same thing that you have taken, if it is modified, okay? Good. You want to work it out?
Yeah.
So if you want to do the steps, what do we get? So you integrate, you get add a 1 divide by, add a 1 divide by, you get 16 over 2, which is 8. Finish. Evaluate from 2 to 0. Now plug in a 0, you get a 0. We don't care. Minus open bracket, you plug this in. Okay, now that needs calculator for sure. And then minus 8 into minus 2 squared. Okay, now how much is that?
Yeah.
So put in a bracket minus 2 to the power 6 divided by 6 minus 8 bracket minus 2 squared. Okay. Okay, good. So as a fraction, it's minus 64. Never put decimals, huh? You get it exact. Minus 64 over 3, which is a nice demonstration. Now that if you keep it is completely wrong. You get a 0 by the way. Answer. Be careful. Never the area bounded is a negative. That I understand. So return it positive right away and you go back right here, put in minus. Now this is the way it is mathematically correct. No one would say because there's a property in integration because integral of a b of f is the same as minus ba. Okay, that's it. And it's not only that, it's again this minus. Uh, yeah, I'm rotating that, and even because if I wanna, if that is a minus, I am changing this by minus minus, so they are the same. It means this should be before, but now you can tell easily that should be before. Now the second area, this now you want to write it because that should be on the second area, not the first that I have taken. Okay. Even if you make a mistake, you just modify it. No worry. So A2 would be now from what to where? From 0 to 2. So again, which one I want to put? Because that is not true. Now it would be true for the second. Okay. X to the 5 minus 16x. You get it? Okay, anyhow, by the way, this is the same answer. I mean, it is exactly the same integral, 1 over 6 x to the 6 minus 8x squared, but from 0 to 2. Okay, now you may ask, do we get the same answer? Yes. Same number? Yes. You know why? Because I mean, this is by chance, not always true. Because we have the same boundaries like a 2 or minus 2. Okay, we have the same boundaries. So we'll get the same answer back, which is plus. But it's not always true if those numbers are not the same. Imagine that is a 3 or a 4 or a 5, you won't get the same answer, right? Okay, but now we are going to get it because we have a 2 here and a minus 2 there before, so it's the same thing. Okay, so the total area would be how much? Okay, so it means twice 64, so it is 128 over 3. Any question?
No.